In this position, you will have to make tough decisions that on the outside may not make sense or may seem illogical, especially when it comes to Gabby. If your judgment is questioned on one or multiple pairings, how will you stand by your decision? How and why?
I think that obviously behind Gabby there's a lot of meaning behind all the pairings. And it might not be clear to everyone at first, but ensuring everyone that there is a reason why they were paired, and also letting them know the reason if there's question behind it, just open communication about it, is something that is really important. I think that there's growth to be happening within your pairings. They're not obviously always going to click instantly, and I think that's okay. So just backing my decisions, knowing that I made them for a reason, and I hope that they can see that as well, because I wouldn't have paired someone if I didn't think that there was growth to happen in that pairing.
I agree with what Laura said. I think I would stand by my decisions, and I would still have an open conversation with members if they do ask and still question why I made the decision I did. I think that alongside with the contest process, it is a very intensive and long and grueling process. But I believe that when making pairings, it would be done with intentionality and purpose, so that maybe members may not see why their pairings were being paired, but something within content community saw that spark, saw that light of why this connection can grow and why this connection will blossom into something that can be grown together.
Kasama Hunt's strength lies in its diverse membership, and as the director of membership, you'll be tasked with creating initiatives that speak to a wide range of backgrounds and interests. Can you describe a time when you tailored an engagement strategy to successfully reach a diverse audience? What challenges did you face? What specific steps did you take? And how would you apply those lessons to build an even more inclusive membership base at Kasama?
I think personally for me, especially when it comes to things of diverse community, I always love to be curious and to question who and what is my target audience. If I don't know what my target audience, I communicate and ask what can be tailored to this community, what can be the strengths, and yes, there's going to be weaknesses as well, but what can make this an opportunity for everyone to learn and grow alongside with each other.
What's the last part of your question?
What challenges did you face? What specific steps did you take? And how did you apply those lessons to build an even more inclusive membership base at Kasama Hunt?
Yeah, and then let's say the event happens and we get feedback on what happened at the event, what did well, what didn't go well, what was maybe to be improved on. I think all that feedback and encouraging the membership, especially to learn and to grow. I feel like when you're growing as a person, you need to allow your curiosity to get the best of you, because sometimes you learn unexpectedly, and the unexpected learning is how you grow and how you become a better person.
Kasama Hunt's strength lies in its diverse membership, and as a DOM, you'll be tasked with creating initiatives that speak to a wide range of backgrounds and interests. Can you describe a time where you tailored an engagement strategy to successfully reach a diverse audience?
Like we said earlier, like Kasama Hunt, like everyone comes with different stories and different backgrounds, and like you said, we're very diverse. I think recently I can think of like all the events that I have made through the CD. Obviously, they're very different range of events, and I think it's again like Jess said, basing it on the audience, but also knowing that it's not going to tailor to everyone, and taking that in and making events that do tailor to everyone, and just giving a wide spread of everything.
Here's the situation. You and your committee notice there's a kate constantly preventing an audience from meeting other potential kates at your events. How how will you and your committee approach this and pivot event plans to ensure that the audience is able to meet as many people as possible during your events?
Yeah, I also think, like, again, as I said earlier, like, open communication is really important. And we do want all the audience to have an opportunity to meet all the this. So editing plans, like, just imagine speed dating. Like, make sure that someone goes in front and they're back there, you know? But I think, again, just like open communication with one another and making sure that they know that the whole Pathway program is for you to meet new people and to see all the like new people that you can meet and not to just stick to one person from the very beginning.
I think that, as Laura said, I agree with everything that she said. Open, honest communication, especially with the GATE, who is preventing the audience from meeting other people. Because I think even like before GATE starts, like having that GATE workshop of saying that your intentions for being in GATE committee is not so you can choose your audience, is so that we as GATE committee can see how you and or how the GATE and audience combine themselves together to make that bond. And that preventing an audience is not only preventing them from growing as a person, but preventing them from learning more of the community, finding people that may be outside of that GATE. And I think having that open conversation, especially with the GATE, because GATEs are informed at the very beginning that we pair with intentions, and not every pairing that you put down is always going to be your pairing. You have to be open to the process, you have to be willing to learn with the process, and you have to accept maybe sometimes it won't go my way, because things in life don't always go our way. And then also just making more events, if possible, that tailor to a wider audience, where that audience can meet more people, where that audience can go and grow and find more people within the community.
Part of the magic of GATE is the anonymity that GATEs have during the week leading up to review. The list of pairings is something that is kept very closely to the DOM and their committee. What does confidentiality mean to you, and how will you uphold the confidentiality of pairings during review?
I think confidentiality means honesty and trust. Having a lot of trust in your community is very important. Having that conversation beforehand, like it is to say that maybe it is a given, but maybe sometimes it isn't a given. And having that conversation beforehand, knowing that this confidentiality is because it affects how audience see this whole process. When audience go into this process, I believe like everyone here wants to be an audience people, you kind of get curious on who your potential kapatid is. And by not upholding that confidentiality, you might ruin an audience experience to the whole process and how they may see Kasamahan as a whole. And I think just having that open conversation before and emphasizing that, yes, this is why we do it. This is because it may not affect you, but it affects the community around you.
I agree with everything you just said. I think like confidentiality is like what makes the magic in GATE. Like not knowing who you get and like just being like, oh my gosh, did I ruin my grades for that whole week? Like that's what makes the program. And so I think confidentiality means like one of those things like that again, like trust in my community and like just trust in my other fellow friends that they will respect the magic that goes into GATE and like what that means for it.
Hi. Seeing as GATE is a season that is pretty short, like a month, 2 months, month and a half, something like that. Sorry, weeks don't exist in my mind. But seeing as GATE is a season that is very short, but also super jam-packed because you need to meet people, you want to interact with them, and you want people to be paired together, how can you ensure that not only you're taking care of yourself and you're recharging logistically, but also that you're recharging your social battery so that you're able to not just be physically present at these events, but fully present for your fellow students.
And I think like the reason we have a community is that we can lean on one another. And so the importance of like leaning on one another is what can help you keep your social battery at like a level where everyone else is also engaged.
Like seeing as Scott, it's such a short season and so jam-packed, not like, how will you not just recharge logistically and take care of yourself in that way, but also just recharge your social batteries so that you're not just physically present, but fully present?
Yeah, like I said, trusting in my community, leaning on them, knowing that they have my back and I have theirs, and also just planning ahead to like make sure that the burnout doesn't happen. And
Yeah, I agree with everything Laura said. I think a big part of it is planning ahead. Obviously, you can't know everything that's going to happen. You can't like predict the future. But I feel like the importance on leaning on your community, like Laura said, but also leaning on your board members, your support systems outside Kasamahan, maybe your support systems within Kasamahan, and taking time for yourselves, whether it be like an hour or two out of your day or an hour or two out of your night to reflect and to just recharge. I know like one big thing that I've like found helpful for recharging is like journaling everything that I'm thinking. Sometimes my mind does race, and sometimes writing things down and like maybe sleeping or like going to a comfort cafe, doing stuff that are the little things like self-care or even just treating yourself a little can go a long way to help you be present in this space, especially for a short time period.
Kasamahan is often seen as cliquey and hard to be seen in for individuals trying to find community in the space. What have you done this year to open yourself up to new people in membership, and how will you continue that into next year?
Okay. I know I mentioned in my speech how like I was a very shy, introverted like first year, and I think by having the position as art historian, I have free reign. I go anywhere. But by going anywhere, I was met with so many faces that maybe see me once or twice, or even just see me passing with a camera and go, "You have a camera, why are you taking a picture of me?" And I go, "What the hell, guys?" But I think that experience alone allowed me to know that yes, Kasamahan is cliquey, yes, it is inevitable to stop the clickiness, but being a person for everyone by learning either their name, their interests, by just saying hi, being a smile around campus if you see them, if you notice them, being a face that you could be like, "Oh yeah, like, I'm here for you. If you ever want to talk, I know you just met me, but honestly, I'm just here because I want to get to know you." And that's like the big part, I think, of DOM is because you get to know so many people of like so many diverse backgrounds, so many like places, so many like just various amounts of interests. And obviously it is inevitable for clickiness to happen, but allowing yourself to meet people allows yourself to grow and allows yourself to make connections that you never thought would happen if you didn't open yourself up in the first place.
As someone who didn't join until their second year because they were scared of like the clickiness that was talked about, again, like that is all inevitable in a way, but I was open, like when I came to the space, all I saw was like love. Like you can see it on everyone's face and like the way that they interact with one another. There's so much love in this space, and though everyone's gonna have their own groups, the people in Kasamahan are very welcoming and like they want to get to know everyone. And I think this year how I like expanded my boundaries to get to know more people is like just during campus season especially, I talked to different groups. I never stayed in one group too long, and then do my own events, like going to my Kappa events and meeting new people that I mentioned before introducing myself. And I think also going to all the kind of pillars events. So we have 4 pillars, and like going to every single one of those events, you're going to see a different demographic every single time. And I think that was one way that I expanded my boundaries to like meet new people.
Yes, hello Jess, hello Laura. So you both served on the board this year as our historian and campus review, respectively. Well, could you expound more on what exactly drew the both of you to wanting to pursue being director of membership?
I can go first. I remember, like, in my speech, I said that I was able to have the privilege of preserving and capturing these memories. And by working alongside so many directors and seeing even just the behind the scenes of how everything is put together and how everything is planned, I feel like that seeing how the backgrounds of like how DOM works, how just like watching from afar and seeing all the connections and memories, and especially like for me personally, I love Got This season. It is a season that I know everyone is so excited for, and I'm so excited for people to experience Got That for the first time, whether it be an outing, whether it be a kapatid. And honestly, being in the Got That program my first year drew me like into this space. That's how I got, I wouldn't say dragged, but that's how I got into this space, and that's how I started learning these connections. And by seeing it as our story, and like, as I said, I want to be the maker of these memories rather than the person behind the camera.
As Kappa CV, like you get to see all the different diverse backgrounds and different knowledge and like everything. And I think that is such an important thing to realize in people. Like again, like I said in my speech, everyone comes from different backgrounds. And that is like the beauty of that you get to find people who have those similar stories and similar backgrounds and watch them grow into like this pair that is the most beautiful thing. And like with my intentions, like that also changed my life. Like I love my husband more than anything. And like she is what like pulled me into this space. And not even just her, like her roommates who are also part of the Catholic program, they encouraged me to do everything. They encouraged me to run for Kappa CV in the first place. And still now like they're encouraging me and supporting me through running for ZLM. And like I have a connection for life. Like they are my foundation. And my outing is now like my best friend, and I see her all the time, and I truly don't know how I would operate through the space without having such a good just support system. And so my intentions behind wanting to run for ZLM is like the experiences that I got. Just such amazing people, and I want to be able to give back to the community and the program that gave me so much.
Thank you guys.
This question will be for us.
What do you think the purpose of the Got That program is, and how will you stay true to the, how will you stay true to this, to the highs and lows of this season?
Well, with Kappa, it is what you put into it, and it is what you want to get out of it. So whatever you want to get out of the Kappa program, if that's a mentor, if that's an older sibling, is really what you want to get out of it. Repeat the last part of the question again.
How will you stay true to this through the highs and lows of the season?
Yeah, and so I think that Kappa really is to find that person that you've been like wanting to like meet and like you never got the opportunity to. And it expands your horizons to meet these new people that you never thought you'd meet. And I think staying true to it is just, again, seeing what people want out of the program, because you can only give what they put into it. And so just staying true to the way that it's been.
I agree heavily with Laura. Whenever someone asks me what Got This season is, I always tell them that it's a way to find a mentor, it's a way to find a friend, and it's a way to find people to guide you through the space, whether it's through Kasamaha and USF or the city as a whole, because going into college is so nerve-wracking. You're at a new place, or you're maybe at a familiar place, but you still want the longing of finding a community and finding basically people with the same passions as you. And I always tell people when I'm asked what's got this even. And like, it's a way for you to make connections that will guide you through your space, to guide you through your time through college.
Can you repeat the last question? The last part of the question?
How will you stay true to this through this possible this year?
I think what helps me stay true is definitely my support systems. Definitely like my aunt who's literally here, stayed the whole time just to see me like do this speech. My grands who like got encouraged to run the board. My family who like I care so deeply about. Whoa. But I feel like having that support system, having the experience I had in not just GATE, but like Kasamahan as a whole, makes me always want to give back that experience